This is a disclaimer. I do not own any Star Wars, Halo, or any other noticeable franchise-related material within this video, which all belong to Disney and 343 Industries respectively. I am merely taking advantage of the Fair Use Act, and am providing this video for the intention of entertainment and education. Hey everyone. I apologize for the long absence due to academic reasons, but I'm back now. Without further ado, let's get to the video. Jedi or Sith? This may or may not surprise you all, but Jedi. I know some of you might have been expecting me to say Sith, as they are more morally diverse, or are arguably more powerful than their Jedi counterparts, but you're forgetting that the Jedi can be just the same. I wouldn't be the typical generic source of Jedi, say like Kenobi or Yoda, but would lean towards the archetypes shown to the likes of Qui-Gon Jinn and Ram Kota. With this sort of affiliation, I could still be able to be a part of the Order, as well as make decisions that would actually make a difference in a particular scenario. Most people always view the Jedi as a laid-back order who prefer to let the Force take care of things, or some other narrow-minded reason, when in reality this is mainly the viewpoint of the Council and not the Order as a whole. You can still be a Jedi and act against the Council's order, even though it may carry the risk of repercussions from the Order itself. So I would choose the Jedi. Favorite world? My favorite world would probably be Korriban within the Legends continuity, but is now Moraband within canon. I know I may have chosen the Jedi over the Sith, but that was more for my own personal moral preferences, as I actually find the Sith culture to be a lot more intriguing than that of the Jedis. This is very apparent in my interest of Korriban, from the golden age of the Sith Empire to the Sith Academy established during the New Sith Wars. Korriban has been a great world of mysticism and rich culture on the dark side and its followers, as it reminds me of real-world locations such as Egypt and other Middle Eastern cultures, which I find to be pretty cool in my opinion. Type of lightsaber, lightsaber color, and fighting style. Exar Kun's lightsaber, purple, and forms 3, 4, and 5. Exar Kun's lightsaber is essentially every lightsaber variant put in one. The Swiss Army knife of lightsabers, if you will. I could choose from a standard saber, and then switch to a double-bladed lightsaber with its standard hilt that negates the weaknesses of the regular double-bladed lightsabers. Not to mention the addition of the various blade length settings at my disposal. And yes, I know I can't dual wield with it, while I feel the fighting style looks cool. It still has a lot more cons than pros. Going with my alignment of grey with the Force, the color purple is perfect to my case, as it has been wielded by a number of Jedi that are also considered grey to varying degrees, as well as being my favorite color if you hadn't noticed by now. As for my preferential form is 3 to 5, I feel that with this I've got all my bases covered with a great mix of speed, strength, and defense. As for combating multiple opponents, I still have that covered, as I could achieve a high level of skill with form 4 to make it work. My favorite species will probably be the human race. As many sources have stated, humans are the most versatile. They can be anything from smugglers, bounty hunters, politicians, and most notably Jedi or Sith. Favorite vehicle? My favorite vehicle is the Kazmiri, a starship making its appearance in the Kanan comic book series. What really stands out about this ship is the fact that first of all, I love the design of it, and secondly, I think it's a perfect hybridization of starfighters and starships in my opinion. If you were a Jedi, which master would you want? If I could choose, the Jedi Master would be Revan redeemed as his appearance in the Rebel novelization, as I feel this was Revan at his prime and he embodies everything I would want as a Jedi. The large amounts of power from both the light side and the dark, as well as the moral freedom to do what I think is right, regardless of what others say, Jedi Council included. If you were a Sith, which master would you want? Darth Plagueis, without a doubt. Not only is he one of my favorite Sith, but he is also one of the most powerful beings in Star Wars mythos. He was also one of, if not the only Sith willing to end the rule of 2 with an apprentice, not to mention nearly holding the key to mortality. Not having to look over my shoulder, as well as receiving vast amounts of power, sounds like a win-win to me. If you were a Sith, then what would your Sith name be? If I were a Sith, I would want my name to be Darth. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. But my name would be Darth Omnipotentum, Latin for omnipotent, which you can guess means all-powerful, as that's exactly what a Sith wants. Power. Favorite Star Wars film? Mine would probably be The Return of the Jedi, a brilliant ending to a brilliant trilogy. Least favorite Star Wars film? The Phantom Menace. A shame really, as it featured one of my favorite characters, Maul. If you could write your own Star Wars novel, what would it be about? If I could write a novel, well, I'd much rather prefer to make a comic series instead. It'd be about a special kind of Jedi whose last name's ending with Cloudrunner. This is a great Jedi and a Jedi Sentinel, as you never really get big stories on characters featuring Jedi Sentinels. Which film had your favorite soundtrack? The soundtrack of The Revenge of the Sith, or the Great Duel track. Do you collect any figures? Nah, I might in the future, but not now. In your opinion, what's the best thing about the expanded universe? The best thing about the expanded universe, I think, is all the different form of story arcs and plotlines across the EU timeline. No two stories being the same, and each one having their unique and all equally interesting plots. I love the way they give you insight to what the Star Wars universe is actually like, rather than it being an enjoyable experience for kids. And the great thing is that they all vary with each timeline. In your opinion, what are the worst things about the expanded universe? Retcons. I'm not talking about the whole Disney canonization mess, but the constant retcons I view are just unnecessary. As my friend Rico Chico Mliko stated,
at all. If you want a new story arc, then just make a new character. Don't write off the previous material. And if you want a new story with a pre-existing character, then just tie them into the story, rather than changing their background or large parts of previous work.
And this is precisely what I feel about how the creators conduct their writing. The EU is massive and fairly confusing the more and more you get into it, especially if you're a late bloomer like myself. It doesn't help when you slap in 3 different origin stories for a character like Darth Maul. What does Star Wars mean to you? What does Star Wars mean to me? I'll start by saying Star Wars means quite a lot to me. I remember watching one of Grain Jedi's videos over 2 years ago, and was immediately sucked in. I then eventually made my way to the rest of the Versus series makers, who would now become the Force Cast. I was so excited and intrigued that I began to dive into Star Wars EU lore that I had no prior knowledge of, and was amazed. It was only a matter of time before I began making my own Versus videos, and hell, did I begin to enjoy it. As if that wasn't great enough, I then gained friends who had the same passions I did, and it truly made my days. I don't really have much in the way of hobbies, and when I do have free time, I try to make content, when I don't get easily distracted, of course. Star Wars has helped me grow and really helped me take pride in what I created, and that is why Star Wars is one of my, if not favorite, fictional franchise.